On a cold winter morning, February 12, 1809, in a small log cabin in Kentucky, a boy was born into poverty. His name was Abraham Lincoln. No one could have imagined that this child of the wilderness would one day lead a nation through its darkest hour and become one of the most respected leaders in history. Lincoln's childhood was far from easy. His family was poor, and life on the American frontier was harsh. Young Abraham spent his days chopping wood, working in fields, and helping his father survive. Schooling was rare. In total, he received less than a year of formal education. But Abraham had something unusual, an endless hunger for knowledge. He borrowed books whenever he could, and often read by candlelight late into the night. Stories of great leaders, law, and history fascinated him. While other boys rested after work, Lincoln studied. Tragedy struck early in his life. When Abraham was only 9 years old, his beloved mother, Nancy Hanks Lincoln, died from illness. Her death deeply affected him. Years later, Lincoln would say that everything he was, or hoped to be, he owed to his mother. As he grew older, Lincoln became known for his honesty and kindness. People called him Honest Abe because he was famous for returning even a few pennies if he accidentally overcharged a customer. Before entering politics, Lincoln worked many jobs. He was a farm laborer, store clerk, rail splitter, surveyor, and postmaster. But his dream was larger. He taught himself law and eventually became a lawyer in Illinois. His intelligence and storytelling skills made him popular in courtrooms. Yet Lincoln was not interested only in success. He cared deeply about justice and the future of the United States. In 1842, he married Mary Todd, and together they had 4 sons. Sadly, tragedy would continue to follow Lincoln throughout his life, as several of his children died young. As America expanded westward, the nation became divided over slavery. Some states allowed it, while others opposed it. Lincoln believed slavery was morally wrong and feared it would tear the country apart. His speeches began attracting national attention. In 1858, during debates with Stephen Douglas, Lincoln argued passionately against the spread of slavery. Though he lost that election, his words made him famous across America. Then came the election of 1860. Against the odds, Abraham Lincoln was elected the 16th President of the United States. But victory brought disaster. Southern states feared Lincoln would end slavery and began leaving the Union. Soon, the nation split apart and the American Civil War began. Lincoln now faced the greatest challenge in American history. For 4 long years, war consumed the country. Hundreds of thousands died. Generals failed. Critics attacked him. Newspapers mocked him. Yet Lincoln remained determined to preserve the Union. Behind closed doors, the burden weighed heavily on him. Friends noticed the sadness in his eyes. He carried the lives of millions on his shoulders. Then, in 1863, Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, declaring freedom for enslaved people in Confederate territories. The war was no longer only about preserving the Union. It had become a fight for human freedom. That same year, after the bloody Battle of Gettysburg, Lincoln delivered one of the most famous speeches in history. In just a few minutes, he spoke words that would echo through generations. Government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. The war continued, but gradually the Union gained strength. In April 1865, Confederate General Robert E. Lee surrendered. The Civil War was finally over. After years of bloodshed, America had survived. Lincoln dreamed of rebuilding the nation and healing its wounds. He wanted reconciliation rather than revenge. But fate had one final tragedy waiting. On the evening of April 14, 1865, President Lincoln attended a play at Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C. As he watched the performance, actor and Confederate sympathizer John Wilkes Booth entered the presidential box. A single gunshot rang out. The nation fell silent. The next morning,
April 15th, Abraham Lincoln died at the age of 56. Millions mourned. People wept openly in the streets. Across the country, church bells rang in grief. The boy born in a humble log cabin had become one of history's greatest leaders. Today, more than a century later, Abraham Lincoln remains a symbol of courage, equality, and perseverance. His life proves that greatness does not come from wealth or privilege, but from determination, integrity, and the courage to stand for what is right. From poverty to the presidency, from division to unity, Abraham Lincoln changed the course of history forever.